what in the world is happening with King County real estate? Let's check it out. You're looking at the supply and demand for the last 2 years in King County. Green is the supply, number of new listings. Blue is the demand, number of homes that went under contract. All right, so what does this mean? Current data is all the way over to the right. So this is February over here. Okay, and I don't know if you watched last month's, but last month was super exciting because it was almost 60-70% more than January of 2024. So year over year, huge increase. This year, February, exactly the same as last year, just slightly above. So the pace of growth slowed in King County. So we didn't have an exponential increase February to February like we did January to January. Okay, so what does that mean for the future? Well, we don't know anything about the future. But what it is indicating is in the present, we're not in January. There was a little bit of a blip, a little bit of a bump up, a little bit of an explosion in new listings compared to the previous year. And that's slowing down in February. Now it's up over January, but it's not up over January the way it was last year. If you look, so January to February last year was 1,300 in January to 1,800. Okay. This year it's 1,700 to 1,800. So it's much smaller increase. So what does that mean? Does that mean that January was just unusually slow last year and we're going to be about the same as last year? Does that mean we took a little bit of a breath in February and we're about to get back to more? It's hard to say. What is predictable, just given historic seasonality trends, March will be more than February. Question is it going to be more than February to the same degree that January was over last January, or is it going to be more than February at the same rate as this February was over last February? In other words, is it going to be some big bump, or is it going to be just a traditional extra 10% of listings, 10% of buyers? If I had to guess, I would say it's going to be the same as last year, not considerably more. I don't see anything about the current reality that makes me think people feel that much more confident. If anything, now it's conceivable that you get people that are panicked and want to sell because they want to get out before, the shit hits the fan. If you are thinking the shit is going to hit the fan, I think you would be justified in thinking that. I have no idea if the shit's going to hit the fan. Who knows how much weirder things get. I wouldn't even venture a guess how much weirder things get. Things get pretty fucking weird, really. So my guess is we wind up really close to last year. We'll see if I'm right. In the meantime, what this means to you is if you're buying, you should be able to pretty much count on there'll be more to look at as you get through March. Competition's going to be the same as it was in February, be roughly the same for you. And it'll be the same as it was last year. Be, new houses, they'll go for 1 or 2 offers, 3 offers. We go a little bit over asking price. There'll still be homes that are available on the market that you can negotiate with. Selling needs to be really done carefully. You need to price appropriately. You want to be one of those houses that gets 3 or 4 offers, not one of those houses that just sits there because you decided to get greedy with the price up front. Better that you should attract a lot of offers and get it to raise quickly than sit on the market. Homes that sit on the market are not doing well right now. So that's where we're at. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in March. Are we going to pick back up, or are we just going to do a regular little boop boop last year? So we'll see. You got questions, you need anything, let me know. That's what I'm here for. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. See you next month. Party on, Wayne. Oh, what in the world is happening with Kitsap Real Estate? Oh, all right. So I was wrong. Looks like King County is the outlier. That the surrounding counties all had a decrease in the number of listings. It wasn't just less, it wasn't just fewer listings than expected or less listings than compared to the prior month. It's actually prior year. It's just less listings, period. So there's a decrease in the number of houses available in Kitsap compared to last month. Never mind last year. That's crazy. That never happens. So you're looking at supply and demand for Kitsap. Green is supply, new listings. Blue, demand, homes off market. And look at that. Look at that little drop. That never happens in the spring. That means if you are selling a house right now, there is less competition and more buyers than there were in January. And that is just not predictable as we move into spring. Hard to imagine that trend continues. It would just be so rare to see a decrease in inventory for 3 months, January to February to March, in the spring. I'm going to guess it bounces back. If I was a betting man, which I am, I'd say it bounces back. But right now, if you got something to sell, I'd get it to market when this condition is happening. And if you're buying and you need to buy now, I would jump on something you like because it's not going to be around. This is a very interesting phenomenon because I don't know what's going to happen here for the near future. There could be a lot more coming on in March, or it could just be really slow. This is a uncharted territory kind of phenomenon. All right, so buyers, jump on what you like. Sellers, price it right because overpriced listings are still sitting and you're not going to get more money by that. So watch out for that. But in general, in Kitsap, it's a good time to be a seller. Got to be a fast time to be a buyer. That's the general rule of thumb there. But this is a big but. Every situation is different. Everyone's unique. So hit me up. Let me know what your situation is. Love to talk to you about it. Love to help you, guide you through finding the right place or getting the right price for your house. Let me know what I can do for you. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at EXP. Party on, Wayne. Well. What in the world is happening with Pierce County real estate? What? All right, this is really interesting. I mean, I guess if you're interested in numbers and housing and things that I'm interested in, this is interesting. Here's what's interesting about it. You're looking at the last 2 years, supply and demand. Green is the supply, number of new listings. Blue is the demand, number of homes that went under contract. All right, all the way on the right side here. Look at this. So there were less houses in February than there were in January to be sold, listed. Less inventory went down. That never happens. That just never happens. You never get less houses on the market as we approach spring. So just amazing. Okay. And demand is up. So look how close the demand is to the number of new listings. It's been so first of all, it's less listings than last year, which is, I'm going to bet, I haven't done every county yet, but I bet this is the only county that has less listings than last year. January was up like 50% over last year. So it was 50% more listings. And then February just lays an egg. That's fascinating. Now, it could be a blip. We don't know. March could just pop back up. I'd be really surprised if March was somehow also lower than February. That would be like shocking. And it wouldn't be surprising to have March be bigger than January, have it pop back up, go back up to, here's last year's number, 1,000 houses. This year was what, 700, 800. So could be another 20%. But the way the delta between new listings and pendings, it's really tight. It's multiple offers. That's over asking price. That's a very hard market to shop in if you're looking in Pierce County. If you're selling, it's a really easy market to sell in. So if you're looking to list in Pierce County, know you got a little bit of wiggle room. And if you're looking to buy, you should know you have no wiggle room. If you see a house you like, you should go in full price. You should nail it down before it gets away from you. And chances are a new listing is going to go over asking price 80% of the time. So you just be prepared for that. It's a very tight market in Pierce County right now. If you have questions about your situation, because everything is, unique, everyone's different, let me know. That's what I'm here for. All right. I'm Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Party on, Wayne. I'll see you next month. Unless you call me, and then I'll see you sooner. Well, I love it when I'm right, and I don't when I'm wrong, but I'm wrong now. What in the world's happening with Snohomish County real estate? Let's check it out. I had said in Pierce County, like, what? There were less listings in February than March in Pierce. And I said, I bet that's the only county that happened in. And it's not true. Okay, so what the hell am I talking about? Well, you're looking at the supply and demand for the last 2 years in Snohomish County. Green is the supply, number of new listings. Blue is the demand, number of homes that came on under contract. Okay. And there are less houses that went to market in February compared to March. And that never happens. It never happens that you get less in February than March. Generally, it's a straight walk up, right? See, last year, straight walk up, all those greens, when you over the next. Little dip last year. What is this, in April? Yeah. Sometimes late in spring, you got a dip. But this I haven't seen. And so it's the same as last year. All right. Now, we're January, we were all excited because you had about a, 30-40% increase in listings. This indicates volume is slowing down. Momentum is slowing down. Now, do we get a big bump in March to compensate like we did, a couple of years ago? Boop. Does it come up? Don't know. My crystal ball is broken. But right now, there are less listings, which means it's going to be easier to sell because buyers are up just a skosh. So the delta between listings and contracts is smaller. There's more, I crush you. There's more competition for less houses. That's a good sign if you're selling. If you're buying, you got to jump on things quickly because they're not going to sit around. They're just not. So if you're selling, price it right, get multiple offers, go over asking. If you're buying, jump on that. You find something you like, jump on it. Don't wait. You don't have as much leverage as you think. There are just less listings and more buyers. That is the market. It's Snohomish. Now I'm interested in what happens in March. Does it pop back up? I'm going to guess it does, just because it would be really weird to see 2 consecutive months, of a decrease. January, February, and then February to March would decrease. Really historically unprecedented, but not impossible. I just think we get a bump. The question is, do we get a bump that puts us on line with 2024? Do we get a bump that puts us over 2024? Under 2024? I'm interested in seeing that. So if you're going to list in Snohomish, I do it sooner rather than later. And if I were a buyer, I would jump on things I liked as quickly as possible, just because there's unlikely to still be there in a couple of weeks. All right, that's what I got for you. If you have questions, because everyone's situation is unique, hit me up. Give me a call. Let me know. Here to help. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company at eXp. I'll see you next month. Party on, Wayne. Hey, what in the world's happening with Vashon Real Estate? What? Okay, let's check it out. This is supply and demand. Green is supply. Last 2 years, number of listings that came to market. Blue, demand. How many went under contract? We want to just be able to compare buyers and sellers and see what's happening. So, a couple things. First of all, Vashon's weird, but this particular month, it's weird in only one way, not two. So, what do I mean? Well, there were less listings, less houses came to market in February as did in January compared to January, and less than 2024, which is really unusual. Nothing in the tri-state, tri-county area has that kind of phenomenon. There's been less listings, but they're not down this much compared year to year. So there's less listings compared to January. In other words, if you're trying to sell, you'd think you'd have a better time. But The buyers dropped off, which is also not the case in any other county. Every other county around us, the buyers either maintained or went up. So that means it's not as good a time. It's an easier time to buy because there may be less inventory, less things to look at, but there's less competition. There is no way of knowing what this means for the future. My guess is March goes up again. March beats January, goes up past February, up past January in terms of the number of new listings. It'd be very, very weird to see 3 straight months, a 3-month decline in the spring in new listings. My guess is that this is going to create some pent up listings, but that's a guess. If you are looking to list, you got to price it just right. There's not as many buyers as you would have hoped. Maybe they come back in March. And if you're buying and you see something on the market, you should have a pretty good shot at getting it at your price. And you should be prepared for there to be more to look at coming up. We'll see, how it pans out, but it would be very surprising, like I said, if whatever this is, March, didn't turn out to be a better month in terms of number of listings compared to January. It'd just be very weird. But Vashon is very weird, so it's not the first time that Vashon would be weird. So there you go. If you're buying, you got not a lot to look at, but you should be able to get a good price, negotiate the price. And if you're listing, hit the price right. I think you'll be fine, and you should better sooner than later, just because there's going to be more listings coming and you don't want to be part of a crowd. You'd rather stand out. But everyone's situation is different and every house is different and everyone has different needs. And I'm happy to talk to you about how to navigate your particular situation. So do not hesitate to call me. All right. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company at EXP. Party on, Wayne.